Vaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhikya Nashturayeshu Rudreshu Nityam Bhagavatu Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 18th chapter, text number 4 onwards. Na uttam shloka vartanam yashatam tatkathamritam syat sambhramo antakale api smaratam tatpadam bhujam. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, and who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of having misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. So Suta Goswami is further talking about Maharaj Parikshit that he was not at all afraid of bite or dying by the bite of any snake bird because he had uh, engaged himself in hearing the topics of the Lord. And now he's saying further, they do not even run the risk of having misconceptions, even at the last moment of their lives. Misconceptions means, let's see what Prabhupada says. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. This perfection of life is made possible by one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns sung by a liberated soul like Goswami, Hill speculator. When the same is heard from an actual self-realized soul and is properly understood by service and submission, everything becomes transparently clear. Thus, a submissive disciple is able to live transcendently and continue to the end of life. Means if somebody hears properly, how properly, submissively, and in the service mode from a bona fide spiritual master, then his life is perfect. Even through the life, he will he will be able to remember the Lord, and even at that time of death, also he will be able to remember the Lord. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance is slackened due to derailment of bodily remembrance. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. But by the grace of the Lord and his bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, one can get this opportunity without difficulty. And it was done in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. So it is very important to first listen, hear from the proper source, and how to hear, from whom to hear, and then if everything is proper, then we can be able to remember him properly even at the time, even when we are living, and also when we are about to die. So that is the perfection of life. तावत् कलिर्न प्रभवेत प्रविष्टोऽपि सर्वतः यावदीशो महानुर्व्याम् अभिमन्यव एकराट. As long as the great, powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. As we have already explained, the personality of Kali had entered the jurisdiction of this earth long ago, and he was looking for an opportunity to spread his influence all over the world. But he could not do so satisfactorily due to the presence of Maharaj Parikshit. That is the way of good government. The disturbing elements, like the personality of Kali, will always try to extend the nefarious activities, but it's the duty of the evil state to check them by all means. Although Maharaj Parikshit allotted places for the personality of Kali, At the same time, he gave no chance for the citizens to be swayed by the personality of Kali. So because Kali was surrendered to him, so Maharaj Parikshit had to give him some place. But at the same time, Prabhupada saying he did not give the citizens an opportunity to be swayed by the personality of Kali, because he did not leave any of those places where Kali can reside. Yasmin nahni yarheva bhagwan utsasarti gam tadave hanu vritto sava adharma prabhava kalihi. The very day and moment the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, left this earth, the personality of Kali, who promotes all kinds of irreligious activities, came into this world. So that is the day when Kali Yuga actually started, when Krishna left. Means Kali Yuga had entered, but Maharaj Parikshit had still stopped him from bringing his influence all over. The personality of Godhead and His holy name, qualities, etc., are all identical. The personality of Kali was not able to enter the jurisdiction of the earth due to the presence of the personality of Godhead. And similarly, if there is an arrangement for the constant chanting of the holy names, qualities, etc., of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no chance at all for the personality of Kali to enter. So if Krishna is there, Kali Yuga cannot enter. So Krishna means Krishna's name, Krishna Katha, Krishna's qualities. If that can be discussed, then Kali cannot come at that place. That is a technique of driving away the personality of Kali from the world. In modernized human society, there are great advancements of material science, and they have invented the radio to distribute sound in the air. So instead of vibrating some nuisance sound for sense enjoyment, if the state arranges to distribute transcendental sound by resounding the holy name, fame, and activities of the Lord, as they are authorized in the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, then a favorable condition will be created. The principles of religion in the world will be re-established, and thus the executive heads who are so anxious to drive away corruption from the world will be successful. Nothing is bad if properly used for the service of the Lord. So Prabhupada is saying, he's talking about radio at that time, but right now we can say if WhatsApp and Facebook and everything can be used in the service of the Lord. In distributing or in propagating His holy name, especially His holy name, then there can be peace all over the world. But the Kali Yuga is so powerful, the personality of Kali. Of course, it is not more powerful than Krishna's name, but because we don't chant the name properly, the name is all powerful, we don't chant it properly, or we have some other motives, some other intentions while chanting. That's why the name doesn't take the full effect, and that's why the Kali Yuga is still there around us. So even if we want to propagate the holy name by technical means, then somebody will come, why only name of Krishna? Why not the name of Durga? Why not name of Allah? Why not name of this? Why not name of that? So then it will be all messed up. So this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, what it does is, it makes us fight. It's a age of hypocrisy and quarrel. It makes us fight. Everybody is fighting. Everybody wants to say, well, my path is the right one. Your path is wrong. Instead of following what the scriptures say, we fight on which path is right and which path is wrong. My speculation is right or your speculation is wrong. So this is the real symptom of Kali Yuga. And look at, even towards the end of Dwapara Yuga or Kali Yuga, technically the time of Kali Yuga had started. Look at the sages sitting in Namisharanya. 88,000 sages listening to one speaker, and they had all chosen one representative, Shonak Rishi, to ask the questions on their behalf. There was no discord among all of them. No, no, no. My representative should ask the question. Let's do the voting. Let's do this. Let's have the constitution, or who will ask, or how many questions we will ask. Nothing. This is Kali Yuga, when we keep on fighting over small things, and we don't get to any place. This is Kali Yuga. So that's why one place Prabhupada did say, there's a famous quote when Prabhupada says, there will be, let there be resolutions, dissolutions, and no solutions. I mean, let it all stop. Let only chanting of the holy names prevail. I'll try to find that quotation and I'll post it. It's a wonderful quote. Because there will be, even among devotees, there is so many of. There'll be meetings and there'll be resolutions passed and there will be no solutions, and then keep on going back and forth, back and forth. And Prabhupada said, let this all stop. Let only chanting of the holy name be there. Text 7. Nanu dveshti kalim samrata sarang sarbhuk kushalanyashu siddhyanti netrani kritani yat. Maharaj Parikshit was a realist, like the bees who only accept the essence of a flower. He knew perfectly well that in this age of Kali, auspicious things produce good effects immediately, whereas inauspicious acts must be actually performed to render effect. So he was never envious of the personality of Kali. So there are some good aspects also of the person in Kali Yuga. That he's saying that auspicious things produce good effects immediately. Means even in the mind, if we do some auspicious things, some good things, like we have read so many places about devotees making the offering to Krishna in mind. Mentally they're preparing an offering and Krishna accepts it. But at the same time, if we do inauspicious things, negative things in the mind, it takes time because that has to be done physically. Then it will have the effect. At least this is good part of Kali Yuga. Because Krishna knew in Kali Yuga people will have no control over the mind, or very little control over the mind. So if in Kali Yuga everybody was supposed to get punished for things, wrong things done by mind, then every moment of our life we would be getting punished. Because we are always thinking negatively, badly about somebody or something else. So this is one of the good parts of Kali Yuga. The age of Kali is called the fallen age. In this fallen age, because the living beings are in an awkward position, the Supreme Lord has given some special facilities to them. So by the will of the Lord, a living being does not become a victim of a sinful act until the act is actually performed. In other ages, simply by thinking of performing a sinful act, one has to become a victim of the act. On the contrary, a living being in this age is awarded with the results of pious acts simply by thinking of them. So pious acts, we get the results just by thinking. So instead of thinking anything bad, if you just think of piously, okay, I'm going to the temple and I'm donating. I mean, even if mentally you donate 1 lakh rupees, 1 crore rupees, it's still going into your account, even if you don't do it physically. Or doing any service mentally. Maharaj Parikshit, being the most learned and experienced king by the grace of the Lord, was not unnecessarily envious of the personality of Kali because he did not intend to give him any chance to perform any sinful act. He protected his subjects from falling prey to the sinful acts of the age of Kali, and at the same time, He gave full facility to the age of Kali by allotting him some particular places. At the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that even though all nefarious activities of the personality of Kali are present, there is a great advantage in the age of Kali. And that another advantage is simply one can attain salvation simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Simply by chanting. Harer Nam Anukirtan. Harer Nam Kirtan. Kalutadhari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, the way of attaining self-realization is by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Thus, Maharaj Parikshit made an organized effort to propagate the chanting of the Lord's holy name, and thus he saved the citizens from the clutches of Kali. It's for this advantage only that great sages sometimes wish all good for the age of Kali. In the Vedas also it is stated that by the discourse on the Lord Krishna's activities, one can get rid of all the disadvantages of the age of Kali. In the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also said that by the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Lord becomes at once arrested within one's heart. These are some of the great advantages of the age of Kali. And Maharaj Parikshit took all the advantages and did not think any ill of the age of Kali true to his Vaishnavite cult. So this specific advantage that in Kali Yuga only chanting of the holy name. I mean, this is true for every Kali Yuga, but in this Kali Yuga, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he appears only once in one day of Brahma. Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga, following the Dwapara Yuga, where Krishna appeared. And because of the presence or appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Kali Yuga is more auspicious because by chanting the holy names of God, one gets not only salvation but Krishna Prem of which Golok, the Krishna Prem that one takes one to Golok Vrindavan, not just to Vaikuntha, but to Golok Vrindavan. So this is a special advantage of this Kali Yuga. So we are actually, in that one sense, we all are very fortunate that in this Kali Yuga, we have taken birth in India and we have come in contact with the movement where propagation of holy name in line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being propagated, is being advertised, or is being propagated, or is being given to all of us by mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So that way we are very, very Prabhuji, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Prabhuji.
I was saying this is the only good part of this age of Kali. Rest, everything is very bad. Kim nu baleshu shrurena kalina dhir bhiruna apramatah pramateshu ko yo vriko nrishu vartate. Maharaj Parikshit considered that less intelligent men might find the personality of Kali to be very powerful, but that those who are self-controlled would have nothing to fear. The king was powerful like a tiger and took care for the foolish, careless persons. Those who are not devotees of the Lord are careless and unintelligent. Unless one is thoroughly intelligent, one cannot be a devotee of the Lord. Those who are not devotees of the Lord fall prey to the actions of Kali. It will not be possible to bring about a saner condition in society unless we are prepared to accept the modes of action adopted by Maharaj Parikshit. That is, propagation or devotion service of the Lord to the common man. So it's only the way to bring the saner condition or bring about the uh, prosperity and the best things in the society is if we propagate the devotion service of the Lord among the common. That's why this preaching is very, very important. So for especially for those who have the knowledge, who have understood, and who are engaged in the service of the Lord, they have to go about and preach, give on this message. So there are two effects of preaching. One, when we preach, we reduce the symptoms of the age of Kali in the world, and at the same time we get more mercy of Krishna. So we make more advancement towards Krishna. So both things happen at the same time. उपवर्णितम् एतद्वा पुण्यं पारीक्षितं मया वासुदेव कथोपेतम् आख्यानं यत्पृच्छतः. O sage, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. Srimad Bhagavatam is a history of the activities of the Lord, and the activities of the Lord are performed in relation with the devotees of the Lord. Therefore, the history of the devotees is not different from the history of Lord Krishna's activities. A devotee of the Lord regards both the activities of the Lord and those of his pure devotees on an equal level, for they are all transcendental. So there is a term called Isha Anukathayam. So means Srimad Bhagavatam and so far, we haven't read about the activities of Krishna or any of his other incarnations. It's only going about Krishna's devotees because they're non-different. It's all Prabhupada saying a devotee of the Lord regards both the activities of the Lord and those of his pure devotees on an equal level, for they're all transcendental. In fact, that's one of the reasons um, Prabhupada's biography, which was written by Satsarup Maharaj, one of Prabhupada's leading disciples, so it was called Prabhupada Leelamrita. Of course, one can say the activities of conditioned soul, it should not be called Leela. Leela is word meant for Krishna only. It's his pastimes. It was quite appropriate to be called Leelamrita. His activities were called pastimes. They were not karma. Like in our case, they are all karmic activities. But in case of Prabhupada, they could be called Leelamrita because they are at the same level. Text 10. या या कथा भागवता कथनीयोर उपकर्मण गुण कर्माश्रया कुंभी संशय व्यास्ता बभूषिभिः. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. So, this theme about listening to the topics, transcendental activities and qualities of Krishna, it's a concurrent theme in Bhagavatam. It will go on every time. Our desire, controller, or enjoyer, or proprietor. Understanding it's only Krishna who can be at that moment. The systematic hearing of the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of Lord Shri Krishna pushes one towards eternal life. Systematic hearing means knowing him gradually in truth and fact, and this knowing him in truth and fact means attaining eternal life, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Such transcendental, glorified activities of Lord Shri Krishna are the prescribed remedy for counteracting the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are considered to be material awards for the conditioned living being. The culmination of such a perfection stage of life is the goal of human life and the attainment of transcendental bliss. So this is what we'll get if we constantly hear and about Krishna's name, then everything beneficial, everything auspicious will happen in a life. And not just that in our life, it will act to take us away from the process of birth and death, old age and disease. Means no more birth, no more death. So this is the only way to get out of this cycle of birth and death. And it will make the life as we are living auspicious and the further life or the next life also. So only thing is in this life we have to put more attention, more sincerity in this chanting of Krishna's name, hearing of Krishna's topics, hearing of transcendental activities and qualities of Krishna. That's all. And there is no uh, bathing or activities. We can still listen. That's another wonderful qualities of his listening to Krishna's name, Krishna's pastime. There's no time, place, no limitation of time, place, or circumstance. Anytime we can do that. So anyway, I will stop here. See anybody has any question or comment. You all have a wonderful day. Enjoy your month of Kartik.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.